Oh, hello there. If you're just joining us, of course, you're watching the AM show here on Joy News. Just come by the AM News with Mapito Sibidi. Time for us to take a look at the newspapers and also tell you what's making headlines on our news portal, myjoyonline.com. This morning, my editor and head of our health desk, Fred Kuku-Smith, joins me for us to do the review. Fred, good morning.
Hi, good morning to you, Mamavi. How's your week been?
Oh, it's been okay, I guess, except for the Odawna market fire.
Yeah, that was surprising.
Apart from that, I guess, yeah. But do we know what started that?
We don't know. You know, around this time of the year, the weather gets a bit dry. But I'm not sure if it's been exactly dry this year. And so, I mean, we'll need the experts who are investigating this fire to tell us what may have caused it. But whatever it is, we know there were measures put in place when we were having all of these fires in quick successions. What happened to those measures? Have we gone back to our old ways? Where we'll be finding out.
And this has been raging since about 1 a.m.?
Yeah, since 1 a.m. and it's still, you know, the fire is still on. Firefighters are really struggling to put it out. And we had one eyewitness say when it started, it was very small. They could have contained it, but they were prevented by the security men there. We need to ask them questions as well.
Well, we do really hope that this will be contained. We'll be bringing you reports because Benjamin Akapo is off to the Odawna market area and he'll be telling us the very latest in the course of our programming this morning. Fred, just before we get into the newspapers, what's happening with our COVID active cases?
Well, COVID, we're having increased cases on a daily basis, and as of today, we have 1,424 active cases. That's around half what we had when we really got to the top. We had our most cases, so we're just about half that. Okay, we had 81 new cases as of yesterday.
81 yesterday?
81, yes. The deaths, 323. We've had 3 more deaths to, you know, bring us 323. And so far, 50,457. These are the official figures, but you know, there have been some studies by the scientists at the University of Ghana that show that it's much worse than we're seeing in these figures. And so what we do, wear the mask, social distancing, and make sure you do not go to crowded places.
You know, like, I went to Dansoman yesterday. I spent a bit of my day in the Ablikuma West constituency.
Yeah.
Great people, except that many of the people that I saw, they were not in mask.
It's a shame. Because many think...
We keep reminding ourselves to still wear the mask, you know, adhere to the protocols. But people are simply not, they can hear you all right, but they're not doing it.
Yeah, so if they don't know, we still have some 13 people whose COVID case is severe. Some of them are actually on a ventilator, and I can see here four persons, well, 2 on the ventilator, but 4 are in critical condition. You don't want to be in that situation.
Well, we can only keep reminding ourselves and, you know, hope that people would adhere.
But my concern, we haven't heard from our government yet on what we're doing to procure some of the vaccines, the successful vaccines that we've heard about in recent days. The UK has ordered 40 million of the Pfizer vaccines, and we've heard about a more promising vaccine, I think yesterday or the day before.
Yes.
You know, so are we taking steps to also bring down these vaccines to help those who may be vulnerable? It will help reduce the pressure on us. Yeah,
but can we afford the Pfizer one, considering the kind of temperature that you have to keep that vaccine? I thought it wasn't good for our atmosphere.
That's another thing for the scientists. At least someone has been able to come up with the vaccine, find a way of bringing it.
Well, I guess we can keep asking the questions. Hopefully, we'll get an official response. In the countries where they're interested in the vaccines, like the UK, they say they would first give it to the elderly.
Exactly.
So people who absolutely
they are more
need it.
at risk.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the newspapers. Let's start. I will begin with the Daily Dispatch newspaper. So on the front page of the Dispatch, EC is very, very transparent, says Reverend Professor Asante Obedasamoa on the Rawlings AFRC era. And this was picked from the conversation with Benjamin Akakpo just some few days ago. Freda Duplan on Bank of Ghana's support for SOEs. Akufo-Addo accepts Hamidu's resignation from Rawlings' PNDC era to Fourth Republic. That's how it looks like, the front page of the Daily Dispatch. And the CVM on Hamidu's resignation in the inside pages of the paper this morning. Fred?
I have the Daily Graphic, and it says crashes and casualties adhere to road safety measures. The National Road Safety Authority tasked political parties, and yesterday there was a signing of a code to ensure that during the electioneering period, the politicians who are crisscrossing the country do so in a very safe manner on the road. President accepts Hamidu's resignation. That's featured in page 13. The DVLA CEO picks award in ICT. And that's it comes with a photo of Mr. Akwesi Agyeman-Busia, the CEO, and he's been doing wonderful at the DVLA, cutting back on queues over there. Government signs $400 million loan agreement with Korea. I don't know what for. Second insightful graphic quarterly review comes out next week, so it's a promo for their review for next week. Okay, and on the back page, we have the second cycle schools receiving 241 pickups. You know, those schools are expected to reopen fully next in January.
And now that our cases are going up again and people are simply refusing to adhere to the protocols, we're wondering if the January reopening
will actually happen.
Yeah, exactly. It depends on how Christmas, all the festivities go.
So I think the situation has changed, and so we need to review our plan for the schools reopening, and so maybe the government's COVID team will have to look at that.
Let's do the Republic Press newspaper. Front page says NPP challenges Hamidu. We know the NPP statement was issued before the response from the presidency proper. Undue demands on MPs make them lose focus on constitutional mandates. Rawlings fought for better life for all, says former President flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, as Akufo-Addo accepts his resignation. So that comes with the banner headline of NPP challenging Hamidu on the contents of that statement as he announced his resignation. And then Kweku Baku backs 80,000 Ghana cedis judgment debts from Kennedy Japan. The paper is reporting that Mr. Baku has received 80,000, which is part payment of a 100 Ghana cedis judgment debt to the editor-in-chief of the New Crusading Guide newspaper for defamation. I'm sure you remember that story well. And according to a notice of payment to the court cited by this paper, Mr. Japan's lawyer stated that their client has deposited a sum of 50,000 Ghana cedis, being half of the judgment debts, and a banker's draft for an amount of 30,000 Ghana cedis being damages in favor of the plaintiff respondent as ordered by the courts.
Well, that's good. Kokubak will have some cash to blow. I have the Guardian Times here. It says, press accepts Hamidu's resignation. Comes with a photo of President Akufo-Addo there. Government on course to settle $1 billion debt owed IPPs, according to the Energy Ministry. And you heard at the weekend, the IPPs threatened to cut power supply. And if that happened, would have gone into darkness. And so, yeah, it's good news that we are making arrangements to settle that. Another one here, COVID-19 distance learning platform for children not effective, according to the Child Rights International. And yesterday, they released a report on their study and how children are impacted by COVID. And it showed that over 2,000 children have been affected in Ghana, and 4 of them actually have died 3 boys, actually. You know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's interesting.
So, yeah, so they found that children between the ages of 0 and 15 were more at risk because most of those people were actually catching COVID. And so when parents go out and return and don't know what they have gone to do, it's important to, at home, also practice the hygiene protocols, wash your hands before you touch. And in some cases, because of where you may have been, if you work in a hospital, for instance, you need to actually take a bath. Use the hand sanitizer before you start interacting with the children.
Absolutely.
Otherwise...